Hey, welcome back to the Nansera Wellness YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing restorative yoga. It's good for someone who is stressed, someone who's looking for a good restful flow, someone who's anxious, or maybe you're just tired and you just want to rejuvenate your body. This flow is for you. You don't need any props, maybe something for comfort. You can get a pillow because we're going to be holding the poses for slightly longer durations than usual. And that said, if you're new here, kindly subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share your opinion in the comment section. What more would you like to see? What did you like about this flow? Otherwise, let's get started. Going to come to the back of the mat and come into a child's pose. Bring the soles of your feet to touch. Maybe open your knees as wide as your mat. Rest your glutes onto your heels. You can also use a pillow if it's too hard on your knees. You can use a pillow between your thighs and legs. Lean back. Send your arms forward. Release your forehead into the mat. Let your arms rest. Come to your breath and breathe. Maybe dig into your fingers. From here, try to stretch your shoulders. With every exhale, you relax even more into the pose. Focus on your breath. Your muscles will naturally start relaxing. And now we're going to move the arms to the left side, maybe bringing your right arm over your head, moving to the left as far as is comfortable. You also have the option to bring your left cheek onto the mat, looking from under and over, from under your right armpits to the right, maybe resting your palms. And we're going to come back into center for 2 breaths. And all the way to the right, bringing the left arm over the head and looking from under your left armpit. And breathe. Try to keep your eyes open because when we close our eyes, we tend to wander off. I want you to be present, bringing awareness to your breath. Or if you really want to close your eyes, bring full attention to your breath. Because the breath tends to keep us anchored in the present moment. And returning back to center, child's pose. Relaxing the elbows. And now from here, we're going to come into a tabletop on all 4. Arms are shoulder level, shoulder distance apart, knees are hip distance. Breathe here. I'm going to try to move to the top of the mat because we're going to extend our legs. Now from here, I want you to step the left leg back behind the right. Send the left hand up into a kneeling side plank. Option to keep the right foot where it is or maybe send it back and place it into the mat and breathe. Elevate into the right arm. Option to shift your gaze, look up to your left fingers. Breathe. You can micro bend your right knee if it's starting to feel too much in your right shoulder. And then slowly we're going to rise up into a get pose, arms at shoulder level. Maybe you can untuck the back toes, and if it feels too much on your right knee, again you can use a pillow to cushion. Breathe here. With every exhale, you let go of any tension that you're holding, trying to be present in this moment. And then on the next inhale, lengthen, and exhale where you release your left hand onto the left leg. Right hand goes overhead and reach towards the left side with your fingertips. Shift your gaze looking to your right fingertips. Left hand slides down the left leg if it's possible, and try to keep your chest facing forward. Feel the lateral stretch on the right side. You also have that option to untuck your back toes, your right toes, and breathe. Keep pushing your chest forward and return back into a tabletop. Amazing work, yogi. And now from here, we're going to send the right foot back, same line with the left, sending the right hand up. Again, you have the option to stay here or step back into your left foot, whatever feels good. Reach for the ceiling with your right fingertips. Maybe shift your gaze, look up, and breathe. And slowly rise up, send the left foot back for stability, coming into a get pose. Remember to cushion your left knee if it's too much, if the pose is too much on it. Breathe here, lengthening into those arms. Breathe in, and on the exhale, melt to the right leg. Left hand goes overhead. Shift your gaze, look to your left fingers. Maybe untuck the toes and breathe. Keep opening your chest to the right. Don't force anything, please. If you've reached your body's extent, stay there and breathe. If you've gone too far, you feel like you cannot breathe, then back off a bit, yeah? When you focus on your breath, naturally the muscles will relax and you find them stretching even deeper without you trying to stretch them. And coming all the way back into a tabletop. Amazing. Maybe move your shoulders from side to side, or maybe come to a seat. Shake your arms out a bit if that feels good. When you're ready, back into a tabletop. Now you're going to bring the right knee behind the right wrist and see if you can move the right foot towards the left wrist. When you reach your extent, flex into that knee, that foot, and then start moving the left leg back, coming into pigeon pose. Again, if it feels so much on your right thigh, you can place a pillow under your right glute or a block like that for height. Otherwise, if you're able to go into the full expression, go for it. Keep the hip square, option to untuck the back toes. And just sway your hips from side to side, bobbing forward into the top of the left thigh. And now from here, we're going to walk the hands forward, melt into the mat, into a reclined half pigeon pose. Remember to keep the hips square throughout and breathe. You also have the option to use your arms as a cushion for your forehead Focusing on the breath. Right foot is flexed. Try to keep your left heel drawing inward so that it doesn't fall into a sequel. And breathe. And slowly lift up, returning back onto your palms. Tuck into the back toes. We're going to lift the hips and lift the right knee. Send it back. We're going to come back into our tabletop and then lengthen the right leg back for a counter stretch. You can bend and lengthen, trying to let the blood flow normally. Be very gentle. And when you're ready, return to a tabletop. Bring the left knee behind the left wrist and move the left foot towards the right wrist. Flex into the left foot and then heel toe the right leg back as far as you can. Again, option to use a block or a pillow. And then come into Pigeon, second side. Swaying your hips from side to side, trying to neutralize. Or warming up actually into the left hip. And when you're ready, you're going to return back to a reclined half pigeon. Forehead can rest onto your arms, or maybe send the arms forward, forehead into the mat. Wherever you are, you can also rest it on a pillow if you're using a pillow. And let's breathe here. And slowly coming back up. Tuck the back toes. Lift the hips. Lift the left knee up. Returning back into a tabletop. And from here, lengthen into the left leg. And bend, lengthen, bend, lengthen. Returning back into a tabletop. Now from here, we're going to transition into a frog pose. Maybe turn to the horizontal side of your mat. Turn to the longer side of your mat. Open your knees out wide as far as is comfortable, and see if you can bring the feet to be in the same line with the knees. Maybe move them slightly forward. Reach for your block. Option to raise your arm, to rest your arms onto your block. And go forward and back into your frog. You also have the option to hold it and just stay there static, focusing on the breath, letting yourself melt. Wherever you are, that's okay. Focus on your breath. If it's accessible for you, maybe lower the arms even onto the floor instead of the block. With every exhale, you relax the hips more, release any tension that you're holding on to. You know, hips are our emotional storage. Every time we get into hip openers, we're basically on an emotional release. So if you find yourself crying, being emotionally overwhelmed, it's probably because you've been suppressing lots of emotions and now they're all coming up and releasing. Use your breath to let them go. We tend to hold on to them. Let's try not to hold on to them. Just let them go. Let them pass through you. It's okay. Let's not try to put it off for any longer. Use your breath. Every time you feel like the pose is getting comfortable, move your elbows back and breathe. Slowly coming out of the pose, and we're going to return back to a tabletop. We're going to come to a seat. Keep the left leg bent. Bring the left heel to touch towards the right glute, and then bring the right foot to the outside of the left thigh. You can stay here and hug onto that leg if it's accessible for you. Bring the left knee on top of the right. Relax both glutes into the mat if it's possible. And then bring the right foot to the outside of the left glute. Coming into Gomukhasana. And breathe here. Option to send the right hand up and back, and then the left hand meets the right from under into your Gomukhasana arms, or you can even hold on to a strap here if you have a strap, and breathe. Lengthen into the spine, opening the chest, and let it ground more into your hips. Slowly release. Roll your shoulders up and back, and maybe up and forward. And we're going to switch sides. Right knee to the mat, right foot to the outside of the left glute. And again, step the left foot to the outside of the right thigh. Stay here, or if it's possible, stack it on top of the right knee. Grounding your glutes into the mat. If you need to lift up a bit to adjust, go for it. Lengthen into the spine. And on the exhale, let yourself ground more into that pose. You also have the option of sitting onto your block. If you feel like you need a bit more height, like that, if that feels good. Otherwise, all the way into the mat, sending the left hand up and down the spine. Right hand goes up the back, see if you can touch them, or maybe hold on to a cloth, a towel, maybe a belt. Push back that left elbow with the back of your head and breathe. Trying to maintain your chin level. And slowly release, roll your shoulders up and away, and again forward. Beautifully done. Maybe move your hips from side to side and find yourself in a seated position. We're going to bring our blocks. We're going to go for Matyasana, fish pose. You have the option to use blocks or without blocks. I like using a block. So I'll show you the block variation first, and then we can do the one without the block. So putting the block to your comfortable height, bring it close, not too close, but close to the lower back. And then from here, you're going to release your elbows into the mat, resting on the block. And stay here. If you feel like the block is too low for you, if it's too high, you go even lower. If it's too low, you go higher, coming into the highest setting. Lean on the block. It's okay if your head does not touch the ground, and just hold it there, focusing on your breath. And if you want to go without the block, let's get the block out of the way. Come onto your elbows. Start moving them towards your sitting bones while you stretch your neck back until the crown of your head touches the floor. And let's hold it here. And when you're ready, slowly, with control, coming out of the pose, taking your time, all the way up. We're going to cross our shins, plant our palms, and come to lying on our bellies. We're going to go for Makarasana, crocodile pose. From here, you're going to bring your palms under your jaw, keeping your elbows close to your chest, coming maybe onto your fingers, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, and breathe. Pubic bone is pushing into the mat. Lengthen Feel the stretch shooting into your lower back. And from here, we're going to walk the elbows away from the chest. Palms under the jaw. Feel the stretch in your upper back. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And slowly release, coming onto your elbows. Maybe drawing a circle to one direction. And then to the opposite direction. 1 or 2, maybe 3 is enough. From here, you're going to release your forehead into the mat, interlace your fingers, and let them rest at the back of your head. And breathe. Maybe draw your chin towards your chest, coming to your hairline onto the mat. And slowly release, coming onto your back. With your right knee into the mat, bring your left ankle over the right knee. Lift your legs up, place the left palm onto the left knee. Right hand pulls the right shin bone. Left palm pushes away while right hand pulls towards the chest. And stay here in this push and pull action. Flexing into the left foot. And then thread the left hand to meet the right, interlace on top of the right shin bone, and pull in towards you. That's my belly. And from here, release. Stepping the right foot back into the mat. You're going to send your figure four all the way to the left. Sending the right hand to the right. Looking over your right shoulder. Breathe. Use the left foot to help the right knee into the mat. Maybe adjust the right foot away from the glute. And back to center. Drop the left foot into the mat. Bring the right ankle over the left knee. Lift the legs. Left hand to the left shin. Right hand pushes the right knee back while the left hand pulls, and breathe. You should feel the stretch in your right glute especially. Remember to flex your feet. And now thread the right hand to meet the left on top of the left shin bone and pull them towards your chest. Relaxing the shoulders into the mat. And from here, you're going to send them all the way to the right, looking over your left shoulder. Use the right foot to push the left knee into the mat for a spinal twist. Maybe right hand rests on the left thigh, nudging it more to the right. Returning back to center. Bring your knees to your chest. Give them a squeeze. Ironing your spine out into the mat. Maybe swaying from side to side. Or maybe holding it static. And when you're ready, release your hands alongside your hips. Send your legs out straight. Let your feet fall side by side. Palms facing up alongside your hips. Closing down your eyes for your Savasana. Keeping the eye muscles relaxed. Relaxing the space between your eyebrows. Returning to your full breath. Maybe taking some deep abdominal breaths. Staying here for as long as is comfortable or as needed or as possible. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. I wish for you good health and happiness. Namaste.